Thanks for tuning in. I'm Brock Page. Boston's at Chicago for Game 3 of the series. The betting opened up with the Bulls as the 1.5-point favorites and the total at 207. Since then, Chicago is now -2 against the spread with the total remaining at 207. Currently, Chicago slightly favored, laying 130 on the money line. And at the moment, 51% of the bettors think the Bulls will get the job done. Speaking of Chicago, they've been red hot as of late, winning and covering in their last 4 consecutive matchups. They're going up against a Boston team who struggled against the number recently, covering just 3 out of their last 4. The Celtics have also struggled with Chicago, going 2-4 against the spread in head-to-head matchups this season. On a side note, 2 out of both teams' previous 4 games have gone under the total posted points. All that said, I'm ready to make my pick as I think the Chicago Bulls -2 get the job done against the spread. When it comes to the total, I think this one stays under 207. And when it comes to the money line cash, I think Chicago wins it outright. I'm also adjusting the line and taking Boston +10 as the first pick of my 8-point super teaser. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Once again, my name is Brock Page, and I do random sports picks for fun. That said, I do have to remind you that I am not a sports betting expert, nor do I implore you to take any of my picks. A wise man once said, good ain't free, and free ain't good. If for some reason you decide to use the free information on this program, you're utilizing it at your own discretion. And with that said, let's go ahead and get into some more picks for Friday, April 21st. Let's go ahead and slide over into the West. I'm talking about Houston at OKC. The betting opened up with Oklahoma City as the 2.5-point favorites and the total points at 224.5. Since then, OKC is now -3 against the spread, with the total moving slightly downward to an even 224. Currently, Oklahoma City is the favorite, laying 150 on the money line, and at the moment, 60% of the bettors think the Thunder will get the job done. Speaking of OKC, they've actually failed to cover in 2 of their last 3. They've also failed to cover in 4 out of their last 6 with Houston. OKC is facing a Rockets team who covers a staggering 82% of their games as the official road underdog. On a side note, 3 out of both teams' last 4 games have stayed under the total posted points. All that said, I'm ready to make my pick as I think Houston +2 gets the job done on the road. I'm sorry, that's Houston +3 gets the job done on the road. When it comes to the total, I think this one stays under 224. And when it comes to the money line cash, I think Houston wins it outright. I'm also adjusting the line and taking Houston +11 as the second pick of my 3-teamer. Next and final game for the show, it is going to be the LA Clippers +1 at Utah with the total at 197. Currently, Utah is the slight favorite on the money line, and at the moment, 62% of the bettors think Utah will get the job done. Speaking of the Jazz, they've been fairly lackluster against a number in the long run, covering just 15 of 36 games as the official home favorite. They're also covering just 15 of 34 games versus teams over 500. They're facing a Clippers squad who's won 3 of their last 4 and covers a respectable 63% in games at the current point spread. When it comes to the over-under, both teams are collectively averaging an even 200 total combined points in their previous 4 games respectively. All that said, I'm ready to make my pick as I think the LA Clippers +1 will get the job done against the spread. When it comes to the total, I think this one goes over 197. And when it comes to the money line cash, I think LA wins it in a minor upset. I'm also adjusting the line and taking the LA Clippers +9 as the third and final pick of my teaser. Just a reminder, my 8-point Sweetheart Super Teaser pays 5 to 6 and gets graded as a loss should any game result in a push. You can find this exotic wager in several online sportsbooks and in the state of Delaware. Well, folks, that is going to do it for me. Once again, I have to remind you that I am not a sports betting expert, nor do I implore you to take any of my picks. A wise man once said, good ain't free, and free ain't good. If for some reason you decide to use the free information on this program, you're utilizing it at your own discretion. Most importantly, if you're betting any of these games, do it safe, do it responsibly, and most important, have fun. For Brock Page, predictions and sports picks, I'm Brock Page. and have yourself a positive day.